Good day, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Today I wanted to talk about this First Spear STT plate carrier. This is one that they made in collaboration with SKD Tactical. And it's really cool, but I don't see a whole lot of information out there about it, so I wanted to talk about it especially today. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and I'll set it on a table here, and we'll talk about it. So here's the plate carrier. As you can see, I've got it all set up here, but this isn't going to be too much of a loadout video except for a few points where it does become relevant. I'm mostly going to be focusing on the plate carrier itself. So, getting started, as I mentioned, this is indeed a First Spear plate carrier. However, unlike a lot of First Spear's products, which are extremely expensive, they are definitely well made, but you get a price tag to match. This one, on the other hand, is just around $200. So, you can only buy this plate carrier through SKD Tactical. As I mentioned, it's kind of a collaboration between SKD Tactical and First Spear. And what's really interesting, so plate carrier itself is, as of recording this video, is approximately $110. And the cummerbund, which you do need to buy with it, is about $80. So this ends up being about a $200 plate carrier, which is not the cheapest, but it's a very, very reasonable price. And for what you're getting, in my opinion, this is probably one of the best plate carriers for the money. However, of course, with that lower cost, it does have a few features that a few people might care about, especially if you're watching this video, that it doesn't have that a normal First Spear plate carrier would have. The first is a Velcro panel right here. As you can see, this one doesn't have that. This is just laser cut moly and nothing else on both the front and on the back. For me, that's something I actually wanted. I didn't really want to have any Velcro up here. I just wanted it just normal. But if you need that for identification, that's definitely something that is a little bit of an issue there. So that's one part to keep in mind. Another area where they cut costs is you don't have a huge amount of padding on the shoulders here. So as you can see, I do have pads on here. It's very easy to get aftermarket shoulder pads that will fit this. You can get a few that will work on SKD Tactical site itself that I believe they make. In my case, I have HSGI shoulder pads on here. They're very, very comfortable. They're pretty wide while not being excessively padded to where they cause an issue, but they still have quite a bit of squishiness to them. As you can see here, that's kind of this, I believe, neoprene material. It's the same sort of thing they have on their belts, on HSGI's belts. So excellent pads there. I'm using this with level 4 plates, which is something I'll talk a bit more about later as it becomes relevant, but I have a front and back, and without pads, this is actually not too bad, but I did notice with some of my practice with this when I was wearing it for a particularly long term. I haven't worn this extremely long term, but for about 6 hours, I did notice after about hour 3 that it did kind of start to dig in at my shoulders. After I got the pads on, this is totally fine. I can wear this for a really long time without issue. And then another area that they kind of had to cut, as I mentioned, kind of had to cut costs on, is there is no drag handle. If you come here to the back, I have a Darcy strap on here, which works great, but there is no actual drag handle on the plate carrier itself. Me personally, from the reading I've been doing and from the videos I've been watching, Jeff Gerwich over at Modern Tactical Shooting did a video, and he has a few articles on it as well, talking about using a Darcy strap rather than a drag handle, because a drag handle will pull your plates up into your body. And from the training I did, I don't do a huge amount of practice with being a casualty and all that, but from the little amount I did, this works really, really well. In this case, this is just a recovery handle Mark II made by Spiritus. It's just kind of a fancier version. You can make a Darcy strap out of just tubular nylon and all that sort of thing, but it works really well to just get drug from, or to be the one being dragged. It is absolutely excellent. So I'd recommend that, especially because this one doesn't have a drag handle on it. You do need something there, but I do feel like this works a lot better than having a drag handle. And then since it doesn't come with a drag handle, it's less to deal with up here since I'm using this instead. But as for a few positives that are actually quite cool about this plate carrier, it's not all negatives and just corners being cut when compared to a regular First Spear plate carrier. One thing they do have that is unique to this SKD Tactical, the STT plate carrier, is they have Velcro in here, so you can mount pontoons. And these pontoons are excellent. These are the pig pontoons, and they have made this significantly more comfortable. As you can see, you just got 2 bits of Velcro right here on the front and on the back. And this is a big reason why I bought this plate carrier. Prior to this, I was using this ancient Blackhawk plate carrier that I've had for about a decade now, I believe. And I still have this because I'll keep it and eventually set it up to just be like a more covert type of plate carrier. But wearing this with actual level 4 plates, one part I noticed I was extremely uncomfortable was right up here. The plate would always push down into my chest, and it would be extremely painful after just a few minutes, really. And additionally, this didn't come with enough padding, but I kind of jury-rigged that. And another cool part is, since it is a First Spear carrier, you do have the tubes system. So this works if you're familiar with the ROC buckles, which there's a lot of plate carriers out there that use that. This is similar, but I would personally say that this is easier to put on and off than one of those. So to demonstrate that, which will be a little awkward because I'm not wearing it, but all you do here is take this part from the cummerbund and it just lines up with the part on the actual front plate bag, and you can just kind of push it in like that. That works really well, and it's easy to just pop off. You just kind of pull it up and then out like that. And I've never had this come loose and undone when I'm actually wearing it either. I love ROC and tubes as well. This is an excellent system. I had a older plate carrier in the past that was not the one I just showed, not the Blackhawk one, but I had one that had the regular type of cummerbund where you had to lift it up and then Velcro it, and that was just so annoying to keep doing that I was pretty much insisting when I bought this new plate carrier that I had to have something with either ROC or, in this case, tubes, which is very similar. But to show this and compare it to the ROC buckles, so here I have an Agilite K19. This has the ROCs, and the way this works is you undo it pretty much the same way, but the way you put it on is it's a little bit harder. You have to kind of line each of these little notches up. So you can see right here, it kind of goes into there. And I've personally found it easiest to line this up from the top and then kind of work it in. And then you can see it just kind of still pushes up that way, similar to the tube system. But like I said, I do think the tubes is a lot easier to work with. Neither one is hard. You do have to get used to either of them, but I feel like the tubes is a lot easier to get used to putting it on and off. As for the weight of this plate carrier, I didn't weigh just the plate carrier itself, but I know the weight of the plates themselves. I'm using Shellback ultra lightweight level 4s, which I believe are just, from the reading I was doing, it sounds like Shellback does a lot of just rebranding of plates. I believe those are just RMAs, but I have a front and back, and then I have a RMA trauma pad on the front and back as well. I don't have side plates. That is something I do want to mention. SKD Tactical does sell a 6x9. I believe this fits a 6x10, and theirs is just slightly smaller than that. They sell a level 3A soft armor side, which I'm considering getting, but they don't have that in stock currently as of when I'm doing this video. But I'm still deciding on that. I'm not sure if it's not going to weigh much, but it is a little bit more weight, and I don't really want to add too much more weight. But yeah, so we got a 5.7 pound plate in the front, 5.7 pound plate in the back, and the trauma pads, I'm not sure exactly how much they weigh. They're not a whole lot, but the total weight I came up with on this plate carrier was 14 pounds and 1 ounce, and that is with all the pouches on here that you see now, but not things in them. So no radio and no magazines in here. And while I'm talking about plates, one thing I did want to mention, so if I go in here, and by the way, this is how you put in the plates. It's very standard, just here from the bottom. But one thing interesting is how these plates fit. So I'm using a medium sappy, as you can see here. However, this plate carrier, and they very specifically say it on their site for this plate carrier as well, this will not fit larger sappies. So this is a 10x12. It fits perfectly in here, but your larger ones will not fit. But these, just a standard sappy cut in medium, is excellent. Last, one thing I always like to check whenever I pick up new gear is whether it has an issue with glowing under IR, under night vision. So I tested that. I'm going to overlay the footage right here, and I'll try to kind of talk slow because I know how long that footage lasted, so I can kind of time up with it. But you can see, especially when I turn around, that the plate carrier itself has no issue. It blends in really well with the foliage in the background. However, a few of my magazine pouches Specifically these ones right here in the front. These are Technicom VSS magazine pouches. And the reason I'm using these magazine pouches is I'm future-proofing for a 417 build that I am going to be doing in the future. But you can see here, and this is maybe just a kind of good FYI, if any of you have an MR762 or 417, whatever, VSS magazine pouches will fit a 417 magazine. However, it won't fit two of them. These are going to fit two VSS mags, but unfortunately when I made the measurements, I neglected to measure the depth, or how wide these actually are. And yeah, it'll only fit one, but that's fine. These are really heavy anyway. But I would say even then, these magazine pouches are not Gorka levels of bad. I've done a video on that in the past. The Gorka is a cool suit, but it has some serious issues with just straight up glowing, insanely so, under IR. So these are fine. They still pretty much blend in. They have, as I said, a little bit of an issue. Plate carrier itself, totally fine. A few other parts of my gear I did notice have a bit of an issue, but plate carrier itself is all good. Personally, for my needs and what I wanted, it works excellent. It is a really good plate carrier. I also had a lot of trouble. One other thing I did want to mention, had a lot of trouble finding a plate carrier that would actually fit me. The cummerbund, their size on the website, if you just go off of that, the cummerbund, I'm extremely thin, so this would not fit. However, when you get the pontoons, that actually adds quite a few inches to your overall circumference. So if you are extremely thin like me, this will definitely fit you. Just get the pontoons on here and it'll be all good. In my case, I have a small cummerbund on here and it fits like a glove. It is really comfortable. One thing I kind of wish they did have on these smaller cummerbunds, they don't have elastic. They actually do have a bit. On the website they say it doesn't have any elastic, but underneath here it does have some. If you go with the larger sizes, it has quite a bit of elastic then, which is nice. I notice when I'm wearing this over a winter coat, it gets a little tight. It's still doable, but I do wish it had a bit more room. I might end up buying a medium cummerbund for when winter comes, but we'll see. But that does cover it. As I said, this is a very good plate carrier. I would definitely recommend it. I like it quite a lot. And I've been practicing with this for about a month now, and it's been really good. So now that really is all I've got. Thank you all for watching a bunch, especially if you got this far. Let me know if you have any other questions about this in the comments below, or just any general comments at all. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Take care, and see you all then. And I'm still keeping it because I'll use it as like a sort of more... So then just putting this back in like so. One thing I did want to mention, you can see my trauma pad does stick out a little bit. It fits the actual plate just fine.